here today with Lisa Stornes from Sauda Upper Secondary School, and she's done some really exciting things with her students to enhance their oral skills, and it concerns FlipGrid. So could you please tell us a bit about your project, Lisa?
Yes, of course. One of my main points with teaching English is to try and increase the opportunities students have to speak English. And FlipGrid is a digital tool which has helped me provide these opportunities for my students. FlipGrid is very easy to use, and we can use it with students internally just in my school, where students, for example, read text loud using FlipGrid, and this provides students, or all students in my classroom, with opportunities to read. If you have large classes, many students don't get to read every week. It also provides opportunities, for example, for my students to connect to other classrooms in different parts of the world. And this has been really interesting because we have spoken with teenagers in Britain, in Canada, in Australia, and in America. For my students, this has been a really good project because instead of me telling them how it is or how it is to be a teenager in these countries, my students then get to actually ask teenagers who live in these countries, and it becomes a more authentic meeting with the language. And as an English teacher, I think it is really important to provide these opportunities for my students, because we know that for students to develop or become better at communicating in English, they need to actually communicate in English. And in an ordinary classroom situation, there are perhaps not enough opportunities for all students to participate. So FlipGrid has really strengthened the oral activity in my classroom.
Wow, that's really interesting. But I'm thinking a lot of English students, or Norwegian English students, they're kind of they're self-conscious. They don't want to talk in English, and then you introduce them to people who have this as a native language. Did anybody react, or what were their reactions?
The classrooms that I've connected to other classrooms around the world, these have been general studies students. So they might not be extremely confident, but they are willing to try. And very often when I connect students with other students around the world, I will let them be in small groups. Because there is, it's easier when there's 2 or 3 Norwegian students talking to 2 or 3 American students, because then you can kind of like, you get the support from the group. What I've experienced is that many of my students think, to begin with, that this is a bit nerve-wracking, and that they are nervous and not really secure. But once they receive videos back and see that the other students are really interested to learn more about them, and my students can then ask questions, they grow in confidence. And I have seen students who have barely spoken in class when I ask questions, grow and gain a lot of confidence when communicating with or through FlipGrid with people around the world. So yeah.
Sorry, and this is also a video medium that's not, it doesn't happen right now. You can tape, you can retape, you can try again.
Yeah. Which is kind of why I thought this medium was really exciting, the FlipGrid, because it's not synchronous. You don't. We have classes, for example, when we communicate with classes in Australia or in America, the time difference makes it more or less impossible to speak live. And by sending or by working together in FlipGrid, this doesn't really matter, because we will log on and post our videos, for example, during our school day. And when we come back to the next English class, we have received responses, We can check them out and then decide to respond back to them. So it's kind of like a video messaging,
Right.
backwards and forwards.
It's taking the old pen pal much further.
It's video pen pals.
Video
Yeah.
pen pals. So how would you say that this has increased your students' oral skills?
I would say it's again. I believe that students grow, or their oral skills need to be. It's like riding a bike. You need to practice. You need to speak English to become better in English, and so by providing more opportunities for all my students, not just the ones who are quick to answer or the ones that I actually manage to talk to during that lesson, but all students participate and all students get to speak English every lesson. This is them enhancing their oral skills a lot because they speak a lot more English.
Wow. Thank you very much, Lisa.